The Raptors fall to the Los Angeles Clippers 126-100. Welcome to Raptors Tonight. I'm Randy Urban, joined by Jack Armstrong, Paul Jones, and Sherman Hamilton. Jonesy, I'll start with you. Just when you thought the Raptors had run out of gas, they find a way to get back in it late there. Just so impressive, I think, considering how shorthanded they were.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. I mean, my analogy was kind of like a long distance race where the favorite kind of ran on, let somebody else do all the work and broke the wind. And the Clippers turned it on in the fourth quarter. But I thought the Raptors were terrific. It was a pretty gritty, gutty performance from an undermanned team. And don't discount the fact that they were probably in the headlines today. A lot of the leads on sports shows with Darko's comments and that attention, and a little bit emotional last night. And I thought they did a really good job. On this entire trip, I thought the Raptors did a great job of going at the right people. You saw them go at Steph Curry. You saw them, tonight go at James Harden. They just kept picking out the right people and putting them in peril all night, all in every game. And, they were right there at the end. And, a few makes here, and all of the other stuff that people were worried about today really didn't materialize. Or with the officiating, they actually had more free throws. I thought it was a really objective, impartially officiated game. And look, give the Raptors credit. Like, I thought they played hard. And they played smart too. And they played at a pace where they could keep close and try to steal at the end. They just came up a little short.
Sure, no Pirtle, no Siakam late there, no Otto Porter Jr., very shorthanded. Despite all that, they're able to stay toe-to-toe. What were you seeing? How were they able to stay with this loaded Clippers team?
Well, I like what they did in terms of their pacing in this game, their attack, in terms of making sure that they were playing downhill basketball. This is a fun team to watch now. I mean, they compete hard. They have some new players that really makes this team more dynamic. Scotty's getting a chance to play the way he can play. And I just think that their compete level is so good. They've got this energy about the way they play, and there's no fear in this group. And I really like the way they approach a game like this. This Clipper team is obviously a superior team, and they've got some real closers on that side. And we saw them go to work tonight. But the Raptors stayed in that fight and gave themselves a chance, and it just shows you the difference between an elite team and a team that's trying to figure it out. But I just liked everything they did tonight. I thought defensively they played hard. I thought they got great bench production. And I think second game of back-to-back, you really need that. They got guys who came into the game had impact, significant impact. And to me, this was a complete team game without some key members of the team that really could have helped them in a situation where you have a big body like Zubac in the game. I thought that the Raptors did a great job just fighting through what could have been a very fatiguing game for them. They played really hard.
Yeah, Jack, holding the Clippers to that many points is decent because of, this loaded team. But when I kind of look at the last four games, they're still giving up. I think the coaching staff would agree, too many points defensively. What has to tighten up at that end of the floor?
Two things. I think number one, limiting the number of transition opportunities you give your opponent. And I'm not even talking about when you turn the ball over. When you miss a shot, or even when you make a shot, I think sometimes they've had issues keeping the ball in front of them. And I think secondly, whether it be transition or in the half court, doing a better job of containment. I think the ball getting to the second level of the defense is an issue. I could get into all the different screen and roll coverages, this, that, the other thing. But, everybody has issues at times guarding that stuff. Because other teams have really good players, and you could be playing the coverage perfectly, and the other guy's got better players than you. But to me, I think just being able to keep the ball in front of you, being able to, maybe cut down 2 or 3 baskets a night where they're getting easy scores on the run against you, I think will put you in a better position. Look, you're going to play a fast pace. You're going to play an entertaining ball. You're going to give up points. But you know what? I like how they're playing. I like their team. Jonesy, you brought up a great point earlier about, they're really getting to the point in their offense where they're finding the matchup they like and going at it. Excuse me. And I think early in the year, they were so concerned with quote unquote just running the offense,
Yes.
being robotic, to getting to a point now where they're playing the game. So if I have a matchup advantage, I'm going to take it. If I got a guy guarding me in the post that I can school, I want the ball in there. And I think they're playing that way better now. And I think it's making their offense better. And then look, they got guys that can do more. They're better. There's more playmakers. You put RJ Barrett's a playmaker. Quickly's a playmaker. And the two of those guys, they make your offense more diversified and entertaining and fun to watch.
Jack, we talked about that at the start of the year, and Sherm, you know this too, and we've all been there. You learn a new system, and it's like practice. You're so concerned with running the offense, you forget to play the game. And I think they're playing the game. We talked about them going at Curry. Last night, they went at Austin Reeves. They sniffed him out, and they went at him. And that's what I think gave them an advantage. And tonight, in a very kind of, within the flow of the offense type way, they went at James Harden. They put him in peril. So I think that's a great point, Jack. And listen, the way the league's gone now, your offense has to be a part of your defense. You've got to score to stay in games, Randall. I mean, the way the games are being called, it's not like you can lock anybody down because you can't touch, you can't bump, you can't be physical. You've got to try to encumber, get a miss and a rebound, and then score at the other end. That's how the game is being played now.
Yeah.
I just want to make one point. I said this in game 2 of the season in Chicago, and I said, the purpose of NBA basketball is get two guys to come play the ball. And I'm a big believer of it, even at the collegiate level, high school level. If you have a dude and I can get two guys to come to the ball, the other 4 guys become better players. And I think the Raptors, to your point, Josie, about identifying matchups and trying to exploit, I think there's a reason why they're playing better offensively. Because now the other guys, the shooters are getting like rhythmic threes, like the ball, boom, boom, second pass out of the double, and now you're shooting shots that are more comfortable to shoot, and you look at their shooting percentages going up. I really believe that you made a great point, and it clicked in my mind. There's very little in there, but it clicked in my mind, and to me, I think you're seeing a lot of that right there.
I'm seeing a lot in your mind, Jack. Don't sell yourself short. Sherm, I want to talk about RJ Barrett because I think Raptor fans are surprised at at how polished and complete his game is. His shooting has improved from 3-point percentage. What's been the key for him being so effective?
Well, first of all, when you're trying to score the basketball and you're putting pressure on people's paint, it forces a defense to react, and RJ's got very good vision. He finds teammates. He makes the next play. And what I really enjoy about it is he doesn't make it from a standpoint of trying to be flashy. It's simple, it's direct, and it's the right play. And he plays the game that way. Now, he wants to score, and I like that about him. He wants to put the ball in the basket, and sometimes he's going to play some bully ball. Sometimes he's going to get around you and finesse you. He's going to knock down the 3-point shot consistently enough because he's becoming a better shooter. But I like the fact that he can make a play for a teammate. He understands where his 4 teammates are, and he can find them, whether it's in transition or the half court. And he does a great job moving without the basketball. So he's got a lot of skills that are very complementary to this team. And in an open court kind of basketball game, he's very well fitted. And we're seeing that the more they play with pace, the more opportunities he gets to score and to be a playmaker. And he's really showing that every game.
And I think back to it. I think back to it as well, just to tag Sherm that it's a great point. I think back to, and I'm sure you guys would agree with me, playing, coaching, whatever it may be. When you play less looking over your shoulder and more instinctive, and you have a good fundamental base, and he does. His father was a very good player. His godfather was an incredible player. He knows. He's been taught. He knows how to play the game the right way. He knows what that looks like. And to me, he's playing more instinctual. and he's not playing as uptight. And look, when you play for Coach Tibbs, and I love Tibbs, I've known him for 35 years. You can play a little uptight sometimes when you play for him.
Jonesy, any thoughts on RJ's game? Anything that's sticking out?
Listen, he's, to Jack's point about him being a playmaker, I think he was miscast in New York with Brunson and Randall having the ball. It was kind of go stand in the corner and wait for your turn. And I think at times, to Jack's point, when you play like that, a guy gets his hands on the ball and he hasn't had it in a while. It's like, I'm going to make something happen. I'm going to do something. And it's not the case in Toronto now. And maybe that's why OG Anunoby, who has a role in New York, is playing so well there. So I just like, RJ getting downhill. And the other thing you look at, and I don't know how many he had tonight, but the last few games, he's been sneaky good on the glass too. He's been rebounding, like 8, 9, 10. I don't know how many he had tonight. I'm not looking at the box score off the top of my head, but he's just been, in the fight, in the mix under the basket and getting rebounds, garbage rebounds, and most of them at the defensive end. He's not necessarily crashing the offensive glass, but he's doing a really good job on the defensive board.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the Raptors have something here that maybe I don't even think they knew they had with RJ Barrett, because he's playing at an all-time level right now, and it's great to see. I just want to touch on one more thing, Sherm. During last night's media availability, Darko said that Scotty was the future face of the NBA, and I think many pundits down south pushed back on that today. What was your reaction to them pushing back on that?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
We've always seen that happen when someone in Toronto, other than a Kawhi Leonard, is one of those guys. I mean, Scotty Barnes is going to be one of the future stars of this NBA, and if you don't see him every day, he doesn't blow you away. But when you see him every day, you see his skill set, you see his ability to really do so many things in the game. You realize how good he is. So I'm not surprised down south when they don't see a player as often as we are able to see him, that they kind of undervalue what his ceiling is. Scotty Barnes is a star in this league, and he will be a star in this league because of his skill set. And don't worry about it. They'll know who Scotty Barnes is in the very near future.
Randall, I just wanted to jump in, Jack, to that point.
Go ahead.
What Sherm's saying is, in a nice way, they don't watch Toronto games. They don't, not to the extent that we do and understand. And I look at OG Anunoby now. People are going crazy in the U.S. national media about, well, I know he's in New York, so that doesn't hurt. But they're going crazy about his defense and his shooting and all. I'm like, have you not been watching the league for the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Like that's the way I feel, and it kind of reinforces the fact. And I hate to sound like the Canadian inferiority complex, but it reinforces the fact that they're not watching Toronto games for 40 minutes. They might watch them when they play the Knicks or when they play the Lakers, but when Toronto goes to Utah on Friday night, unless you're hardcore, some of those national people aren't watching.
Well, I want to just say something, because I think a lot of people don't even watch the Knicks and the Lakers. They watch highlights. They watch highlights. It's a very people don't sit, and particularly the younger generation. And I'm not being a Tom Brady Kane waiver and talking about, the old days. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is that a lot of the people that are the pundits, that are evaluators of this game, are watching the stylistic, analytical element of the game rather than the substantial element of the game. And it's a big difference. And to me, the four of us that are on here tonight love the game in a way that's more substantial. And there are a lot of people out there that love it the same way we do. But we all get angry sometimes, because sometimes the people that drive the agenda don't see the game in a way that we see it. And I think it's like the difference between having a bachelor's degree and a master's degree and a PhD in terms of how you see it. And I never even get out of community college based upon how I see it. But you get my point. And to me, I think it's frustrating for all four of us here I'm not frustrated in the least about today's players. I love today's players. I'm not frustrated about the NBA. I love the NBA. What I'm frustrated with is the people that are the opinion drivers, in a lot of ways, really don't know what they're watching.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, great stuff as always. Going to stop it there. Next game for the Raptors is Friday against the Utah Jazz. Tip-off goes at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, Raptors Tonight will go live on YouTube shortly after the game. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.